and see worth in this perspective. And many have also said that it's a fresher or a newer perspective than what they're accustomed to hearing. And I'm aware of that. I wouldn't necessarily call it newer because just like, we're dealing with Orunmila, and many people say that Orunmila is Ifa. Orunmila is not Ifa. Ifa is something different that we're going to get into. Orunmila brings forth Ifa. But Ifa means to scratch. Okay, the word I-F-A, that's how you spell it, Ifa. It means to scratch. And what does that mean? So some people say, okay, that means to mark the particular Odu or the readings down. So as you see usually, especially for those of you who've had sessions with me, you'll see that I'll mark certain etchings and Yerosun, which is like a dust. Okay, some call it Ifa dust. And you mark the reading there, and you'll see me scry into that reading. And by scrying into it, it speaks to me, and I start to see things. So it becomes more than just a mark, and that's why, even in this broadcast, I could speak about Ifa, and I know many of you are tuning in to hear about Ifa. This has been a much requested broadcast. A lot of people have asked me to speak on Ifa. But here's the thing about that. As far as Ifa and the Odu, they are mutable energies. They are transforming and evolving and growing just as we are. So I could speak about different Odu, and I can tell you what those Odu mean. But more significantly, you are also the potentiality to become Orunmila. So if you are the potentiality to take on the mask or the energy of Orunmila, then you can have your own interpretation of the Odu. There's a book that many people use, the Sacred Ifa Oracle, which was written by Philip Neimark and Babalawo Ipega. And that's been like the standard for many people who study in order to memorize the particular stories, and also some of the Ebo that go along with the Odu that come up. And as you know, there's 256 Odu, there's 16 major Odu. Now, for those who are listening and saying, what's something that comes up very common, very often with those who practice Ifa, or the priest of Ifa, known as Babalawo, or Baba Niyawo, which means the father who has the secrets. So you'll hear this term Iwa brought up consistently, or Iwa Puele. Alright, and Iwa means character. Now, if you watch the movie The Avatar, right, the name of their high deity was a feminine energy named Iwa. And there was a line in the movie where Natari, who was, of course, Queen Natari, they all had Kemetic names, even Jake Sully, Jacob Sully, or we would know as Yakub Sully. And to sully means to darken, to make dark, or soot, which is one of the oldest names for God. So this was Yakub, the father of the so-called Jews. And there was a line in there where Jake Sully had said, well, maybe we can go to Iwa for assistance. And Natari says Iwa doesn't get involved in those type of things. She only maintains the balance of life. That is all she does, is maintain the balance of life. So I thought that was interesting, because this is the role of Orunmila and the role of Tahuti and of Moses and of all of our law bringers. And these are the ones who maintain life, or maintain more so the balance of things. And again, Orunmila's counterpart, or Orunmila was married to Oshun. Orunmila was married to Oshun. Now, one of the consorts of Tahuti was Heteru. Now, Heteru is our Kemetic Oshun. All right, I'm sure many of you already knew that. But again, you'll see correlations. Now, this is again where I may differ from a lot of what you've heard. You were told that Orunmila, for those of you who are familiar with Orunmila and Ifa, you were told that Orunmila was a prophet, and Orunmila, he walked the earth and he taught Ifa throughout the earth. Okay, I won't get into the story as to why he had to leave or why he left, and you can read Odus and mythology for that, and we don't have a whole lot of time. So my calculation that I share with you is this: that that didn't happen, and even the instructors that I came under, so that how I was going up the chain link is evolving, is going up, raising the DNA vibration. Okay, so and in doing that, there were a group of people, or the majority of the people were put underwater. Well, what does that mean? They were put to sleep, and from a conscious perspective. Well, this is what we see here. It's just like the numbers, and another Tahuti figure, the honorable, or the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, where he said that 85% of the population was deaf, dumb, and blind. We covered this in Oduduwa. But that's a form of sleep. And just know, too, that sleep is a form of melanin. But the deaf, dumb, and blind, which is the majority of the population, then you have the 10% who are those who are aware of the truth, but use it to manipulate the 85%. And then you have the 5%, which are the righteous ones. And righteousness doesn't necessarily mean piety. Righteousness just means those who have the light. Okay, that's what righteousness, those who have the light and are walking in it and applying it. All right, so this is a similar story. You have the majority of people who are swept to sleep, and that's Olokun did that and brought them down to the depths where their conscience went to sleep. Then you have the spark of Obatala, and those who are exceptional, who have that God/goddess gene, we'll say, for parenthetical purposes, who have that particular gene, were able to get onto that chain and raise up to Orun, which is transcendental thinking. They were able to transcend the thinking of the masses and go above and beyond it and reach Orunmila, who is the concept and the energy of all-knowing. So by transcending the masses, they reach the place of all-knowing. This is you. For everyone who's hearing this, and I've been looking at my stats on this show. It's actually, we got a lot of listeners now. If you're listening to things like this, and the majority isn't, I have YouTube videos. I don't have 30, 40, 50, a million hits on my videos. If I was to put a video up of me having a fight, in the middle of a street, then I'm sure I would have 1 million views. So that's what the masses want. But for those few who are able to grab onto that chain link, they want Orunmila. They want all-knowing. They want to be able to transcend, which is the energy of Olorun. They want to become Olorun, which is a transcendental energy vibration.